Hello folks, welcome to the next episode of Inside My Head, game analysis on the go in style of Chess Explained, except that he's probably a lot better at it than I am, but I will try my best to do my stuff. French defense, I most of the times play knight c3 or knight e2 against it, and this move is a losing move that is often confused in this variation because c5 is very good against knight d2. Reason being is that the knight from d2 doesn't exert any pressure on the d5 square. The reason why people play knight d2 and block their bishop voluntarily in is because against knight c3, as per in the game, there is this bishop b4 variation called the Vinava variation, which is not really deadly or dangerous or anything like that, but it brings about positional concessions from white's point of view because we need to allow double c pawns. Now c5 on the other hand in this position allows me to take here, and now the d5 pawn is compromised because if he takes back I take here and then the d5 pawn drops, which is something I can't do with the knight on d2. And essentially with this trick the game is over, but at least we will be able to talk some endgame technique business here if it comes to that. So now I'm threatening even with this check, which is rather difficult to hold, because if knight here then I can take that knight, so probably bishop d6 is his only legitimate move here. I'm curious if he finds it. If not, then yeah, this game is going to essentially lose all of its value. But yeah, maybe I should not play with 1700s in this series of Inside My Head, but the problem is that it's difficult to find people who seek for games for that particular time frame. Yeah, I wonder if he's has fallen asleep or not. So once again, c5 here is not viable. Knight f6 or bishop b4, the two main variations. He did find bishop d6, so good on him for that. I'm just going to develop my pieces normally like you would. Do I play bishop c4 now? Let me think. No, I will pinch one of his bishops, or I will encourage him to take or do something. Bishop g4 seems to be decent. But again, I don't care if he takes and creates double pawns because my pawn majority is here with the 3 versus 2, and I'm more than happy for him to give up either of his bishops for my knights. It basically adds to my advantage. He desperately wants to castle, which I really don't need to stop, but I do because this is part of chess psychology that when you know what you want, what your opponent wants to do, it's not necessarily a bad idea to try to stop it, even if it's not really the very best thing he could do. Although given that I've got the 2 bishops, if I don't allow him to castle, it will be very difficult for him to connect his rooks. So probably it wasn't necessarily bad. After knight c6 I won't be able to castle here to prevent long side castling because this is hanging, so I'll have to chuck bishop d3 in first, which then might prevent my castling from preventing him from castling. God, speaking is difficult on Christmas or Christmas time when Christmas is approaching. So yeah, knight f6, and I don't know, I will just castles, whatevs. Don't see anything better I could do. Maybe knight g5 just to try to be a pain in the backside, hassling the other bishop. Might be worth a shot. Let's do that. It is also a pain in the neck that I can't play music because then YouTube will mute me. And because of I've got a bit of a sore throat, I'm going to refrain from singing Christmas carols now. You better watch out. You better. I don't even know the lines of this song. Santa Claus is coming to town. Come on, mate. Go back to f6. You have no other legal moves here. Go, go, go. If bishop f5, then knight h4 hurts a lot because it kicks out the bishop that defends the knight on e4. If pawn f5, that just looks ugly as sin because it weakens a lot of squares. And my opponent just decided to leave the game. So let's find a new opponent. Not so easy. Alright, oh no. I don't want to play that fast blitz because I can't comment on that. Come on, dudes. Play with me, dudes. Dudes. Alright, let's see how Ricardo does it. This is right. Oh, Ricardo doesn't do it at all. Alright. Come on. Be a man. Be a man and play with me. Ooh, I forgot something which I prepared for this special occasion, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Surprise is coming. No, nobody is playing with me. Oh, someone is playing with me. Whoa, 2400 dudes. Time to roll up the sleeves. GLHF. Alright. Siciliano. Siciliano. He's certainly taking his time on move one. Dita duri duri do dan. Please don't give me a check because I hate boring stuff. Alright. Let's see what he does against the Scheveningen. Oh, the Keres attack. This dude is going aggro. So the Scheveningen obviously invites the Keres attack, against which it's difficult to play actively as black, let's put it this way, because it's super duper aggressive. And the reason why I'm playing so many pawn moves is because a6 was needed. It's not a bunny move that lots of amateurs make, and neither was h6, so I actually need to stop here and go back a bit and explain what the heck. So g4 is designed to kick my knight out, and I played h6 because it means that now h4 and another move needs to be played in order to execute g5 because of the pin on the h file. That's why he played after h4 I played a6. The plan with a6 is to play b5 and bishop b7. So he needed to play rook g1, and now I played g6. The idea is to hold g6 and the aggression coming after that. And in fact, bishop e3 is a timid move there. He should have played g5 already, and a3 is bad too. So he's a little bit falling apart here now. In terms of opening aggression, it's hugely inconsistent what he's doing now, because he should have really played g5 already, and it might be too late for him. I'm already thinking about combating the center. Knight d7 is very tempting, but then g5, and I can't come back with the knight here, is my concern. Alright, I dropped the knight back, and I can do that with the tempo because this is hanging now. g5 was coming anyway, and now my plan is to put this knight either here or here, and then whichever I choose, the other knight will follow the same path and eventually pop in there. I can take or I can hold. It is always a tough decision, because he can't really take because then I can pinch that, but I want to take because I want to clarify the situation. And if bishop takes, then queen b6 might come with a tempo. And please note that due to the fact that I play g6, I'm not obliged to develop this way with the bishop. I can choose the far more active bishop g7 way of developing my stuff. And once again, if the bishop drops back, this is going to hang. I have to watch out for take, and then there is a mate here. But this is not working because after takes e5 with the intention of bishop g6 mate, I can take back with the knight, and it covers g6. It looks like I'm really badly behind in development, but my position has a lot of momentum to it, in that a lot of my pieces will bounce out to squares either with a tempo or simply with very, very promising plans. And that is another atrocious move. Like, you would never really want to go back from the center voluntarily like that. I already had 95 coming in there, but I'm holding that idea. Oh my lord. Yeah. This rating makes me wonder now if it's legit or not, or what's happening there. Because this is not 2400 level play. So now knight f3 is very annoyingly threatened. Rook g3 is the only reasonable way that I can think of to dodge it. And now I have got a variety of ways to continue the game. I'll just go with knight d7. f4 is logical, but then the g5 bishop is beginning to feel the heat, so I might be able to take and simply trap that bishop there. So it really has to tread carefully here. And also castling here is going to step into further attack with b4, probably not right away because of knight a4. But it definitely seems to me to be a legit scenario. Yeah, if takes, maybe rook takes hanging d6 is the plan. I don't know, it just feels wrong. Very wrong. Knight c4 perhaps. Takes, bishop takes, and f6 is hanging, b2 is hanging. Well, b2 not really, because then rook b1 wins my bishop. So let's think here, because I'm 100% certain that my position is superior. But these are the moments when you really have to be very accurate and and strike well. So I'm thinking about knight takes d3, rook takes d3, knight c5, rook takes d6. Just dropping back, but somehow it doesn't feel powerful enough. I have a feeling that I'm missing something here. And I'm reluctant really to move back the knight too, because f5 seems to be a good way for him to recover from this mess. Okay, I'm going to go in. Bishop takes pawn takes f5, and I will go from there. I like to have the two bishops. I don't really like to approach situations like this, that yeah, take f5 and then I will see again what happens there. I really should have calculated before I executed knight c4 the consequences of the line that I just described. But since my time was ticking away, I had to be a little bit more economical with that too. Yep, I should have pre-moved this. Oh, he may be able to castle even here. This is hanging, but then f6 is the plan. Yeah, he's thinking about castles or f5, I suppose. After yeah, okay, f5. That was the more logical way to go about this. Bishop e5 is tempting. It attacks the rook and covers my d6 pawn. Yeah, let's go there. I'm expecting rook back somewhere. And after that, I was even thinking about taking this twice, to be perfectly honest. It looks a bit suicidal, but I seem to have a very firm grip in that case on all the white squares in the center, and my bishop on e5 dominates the dark ones, so I don't really see how he can crack me, but I'm beginning to feel more and more insecure about my king being stuck in the middle. That's definitely a no-go. I have a feeling that at some point I slightly misplayed this position, but I am yet to figure out where. Actually, after rook d1, I think knight c5 seems to be very strong, because then castle doesn't work on account of knight takes e4. On the other hand, it does allow bishop e3, bishop d4. So I have to tread carefully there. Okay. So rook g1 or g2, I don't know. Oh no, g2 is not possible because takes and it's pinned. So probably rook g1, which is also awkward, by the way, because the knight then tied down to the defense of the rook. Knight c5, bishop e3. And if queen b2, rook b1. God, this is such a mess. Actually, castles is not threatened because I then can take here. So potentially his main move now is bishop e3, bishop d4. That's the move I need to work against. And I can't take here because rook b1 by the looks of things. I think that my calculation is accurate there. Alright. So knight c5, bishop e3, and then I'm beginning to hang here. But at the same time I can also castle here, which then will make these dudes hang. God, this is such a mess. So after bishop e3 I have got a number of options that I can do. I was considering queen a5, simply stepping out of this awkward pin and threaten to take this pawn, whereupon he can take, and rook takes. And then I thought I would castle here. But then again, he can castle there too. I really don't want to remove my queen from this file, because that makes him feel a bit itchy about castling here. Okay, what else can I do after bishop e3? I could take technically here, which I guess would encourage castles there. Yeah, this pin is really annoying the heck out of me. Which is the reason why I was also thinking, in case of bishop e3, to play queen c6, hitting this pawn really hard. And if takes, rook takes. Yeah, that's an issue, because then if I take there, then rook takes serious check. So I really don't know what he's thinking about, because bishop e3 to me seems like a totally obvious only move. And it's just not happening. Alright, so it has happened. Alright, I will just go safe. It's going to come down to time now as well. So I need to go for safety. I would be surprised if he didn't castle now, or took and then castle, or maybe took me twice here. Yeah, this is what I more or less expected. Okay, if queen here, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. Rook takes, rook takes is a little bit annoying. Although I'm a pawn down, I seem to have tremendous compensation after the pin down there. Yeah, I like compensation when I am in a sticky situation. I always prefer initiative over material. Only thing is that after rook takes, I think if I go queen c6, knight d4 is far stronger than pinching the pawn. But actually then I come back hitting the rook and hitting the pawn here, so that looks good. So yeah, now I expect rook takes, queen c6, and then hopefully he will take. I feel a bit iffy about this move, as it is not powerful enough to force this swap, but I think it should do the trick. And after bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes on e6. I could pinch the pawn, but I don't want to give up my two bishops. They're so powerful. I would much rather pin and then bring my other rook into the fray. I totally missed this, for the record. It doesn't feel right, but okay, so what's the story if I go here? Because mate is threatened, and if bishop takes c5, then I can take here. Okay. Oh, if I go here, he wants knight here. Gotcha. Okay. I missed that too. Shoot. But then I have knight e4. Knight takes queen. Oh, then check. Shite. Okay, so knight takes, check. That's a little bit awkward. But then bishop f4 should do. Okay, let's do this. Tactics down in Kingston Town. So, takes. If knight b6, king b8, and then I just retake on b5. If knight a7, I play king b8, rook takes, and bishop f4. Is the plan. And if I swap off dark squared bishops, then the a7 knight has nowhere to go. I might lose these two pawns in the process. I don't know. Yep, so now what I'm thinking about is check rook d1, take, and I can't really hang on to this, can I? Maybe rook here then? Or rook e4 is my other idea, but I'm a bit reluctant to keep that many rooks on the board. Plus I step into knight c3 then. And check rook d1. And I still seem to lose that pawn. There's so much stuff on white, I feel like there should be some tactics here, but I just can't see the thing. Got it. If rook c3, I will just drop back here. Very exciting game. Very, very exciting game. I'm pretty sure that I heavily misplayed it at some point, because it felt like I had a win. An easy win, that is. And I'm struggling to prove even the slightest advantage here. Okay, I was planning on playing this on this move. Which is really ugly because I'm putting all my pawns on that square. He was hoping that I would have taken like that and then he can escape with the knight. I think that was a losing blunder, yes, and that's mate now. Right, whew, that was a toughie. Alright, let's do a rematch. And then I may actually either analyze the games in a new video, or in this one, I don't know. Dragon? Yep, okay. Against the dragon, I used to play the 9g4 variation for a long time. But I do know that it has got a few defects now. Oh, shoot. So recently, knight takes e6 has become popular here, and I think that is the best move. But I would like to show you a couple of theoretical ways how this line can be played against very effectively as black. And I wonder if you will find any, or if he knows any, based on how the previous game went. And I don't want to sound full of myself, but he doesn't seem like a theoretically really well-versed guy. So yeah, I don't know. Like the fact that he's thinking already is sus. Knight takes, bishop takes, queen a5, pawn a3 is theory, and nothing else really makes too much sense here. I mean, knight e5 is an adventurous way to go about it, but it's not sound. And now they have got rook b8 and rook fc8. Rook fc8 is going to be a sort of a gung-ho, let's kill each other type of game, whereas rook b8 is going to go into a boring endgame. Let's see which one he picks. Actually, after rook b8, h4, we can still transpose into the exciting attack, or b5, where upon I'm forced to play knight d5, and that's how the endgame comes about. He really seems to think a lot in the opening stage. Yeah, b5 is just a losing mistake here. I mean, you can try to play like that and be enterprising, but yeah, it's just not good. After queen takes, I can't take back with the rook because of this spin. But king takes back, I think, is fine. So, honestly, yeah, I mean, you can't play just like this. I can even just simply exchange the bishops now, drop back to d4 and win. But I'm even tempted to get more than that. So I will just play h4 and see how he reacts. Yeah, I just drop back against a6, and he still can't come out here because knight d5 is now forcing the previously mentioned endgame with an extra pawn. So yeah, there are some dragon players who are desperate to generate some sort of counterplay or play for any price, literally, and so they sacrifice stuff like there was no tomorrow. But this is just super unsound. Okay. g5, knight h5, bishop takes, king takes, and knight d5 is a very effective way to kill all types of counterplay in this position. h5, there, h6, queen b7. b3, bishop takes. I'm trying to think about a couple. I was thinking about h5, rook fb8, and then h6, or rook ab8 even, actually. And then play g5 and swap off the dark squared bishop. Alright, let's have some fun. I didn't want to transpose into a boring endgame with g5. I want to enjoy the moment. c8, wow. h6, bishop h8, g5, knight h5, bishop takes. Well, that's nearly made there. Like, this used to be a very typical move in this line in the 70s when Tal, I think, won a game like this, that he pushed it in, he swapped off the dark squared bishop, and then he just cruised towards an endgame where the black king felt very insecure here because of these far advanced pawns. I mean, granted, he gave up the mating attack, but he changed that advantage into a more enduring one, which was a long-lasting endgame advantage. And now I can combine it with a number of various sacrifices, because he has already lost a pawn and a lot of tempos, more importantly. So the main problem for black is not the fact that he's a pawn down, but more so that he has no attack present at the moment. None whatsoever, which gives me free hand to do whatever I see fit, both in the middle and in the side. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back there, by the way, because he seems to be that type of die-hard dragon player who would do lots of awkward moves just for the sake of maintaining some sort of play, or the look of it, really. But yeah, this is just ugly as sin. Like, if he goes back here, he essentially is playing with a piece down because that bishop is not participating in any type of attack. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I know these guys inside out. Knight h5 is what I'm expecting, or what I should do, rather, I should say, because yeah, these guys who are really hardcore attackers, they are really scared of attack and being attacked too, so he might be afraid of takes, but I don't think it's sound, to be honest. I wouldn't do it. My plan is knight d5, bishop takes ed, knight g3, and then either rook up or rook here, and just win the endgame. So let's do that. Yeah, I don't really think that he's got any other reasonable move here other than coming in. Whoa, I found a beautiful mate motif. Wow. I was thinking about putting my bishop here and then sacking here, and then bishop h7, queen check, and pawn h7 mate, which is not going to come about now that he played knight f4. The idea is that if I take its mate down here, and otherwise he's trying to pinch this pawn. I have got a number of ways to deal with it. Bishop c3 is the most blunt. That I can think of. Bishop d3 seems legit. And if takes, then bishop e4. It seems to hurt a fair bit too. That's actually quite a cool move. Can't decide. Bishop c3 feels a bit awkward. Maybe then e5, pawn takes, knight takes, back bishop e6. That's a disaster for black. Okay, let's just go safe. Bishop d3 was a bit too enterprising, but I really like the concept that we refute his nonsense with developing moves. That's the type of chess I like to play. But yeah, this is just dead meat now. I really don't mean to offend this guy, but I have got no idea whatsoever how he could be 2400. Like, he was actually lost. Well, I wouldn't say lost, but right after the opening, he started to chase absolutely false plans in both games. So now all I need to do is just to bring the rook about, and I constantly am threatening to destroy his pawn structure by takes and then combining it with various mate threats, and he has got no counterplay whatsoever along these files. It's very well worth to note that my bishop on c3 essentially is cancelling out 3 heavy pieces. And this is desperation, like he really wants to push d4 in to stir counterplay up here. And I already have numerous ways to win the game, including bishop takes followed by queen d4. Or I can just simply take this. Frankly, I'm really tempted to do this, especially because after rook here I have got this spectacular queen sacrifice here. But sadly that's only good enough for a winning endgame. Yeah, so I have pretty much every move wins for me here. I'm trying to think about which one would be the most economical. So queen takes... Yeah, he might muck around with checks, so I will just take this queen d4 and get out. GG. So this check is deadly, so he has to play e5, whereupon I will play check, queen f7, and then queen takes here, and then he will have to second exchange. I will take that. He will then give me a check here, and then I will probably block it, and then he will resign. That's my prediction for the rest of the game, but I may be wrong. I would like to go back after this video to the previous game because I felt like I misplayed that a little bit and figure out what I should have done better there. This is just over here. Yeah, impulsive moves like b5 in this position are never good enough. So you need to, first of all, know theory if you are playing the dragon, because it's an opening way. If you don't know theory, you die. And second of all, this is just, yeah, it's the type of play that I don't really like, when you just chuck material and hope for the best. It's not even the type of unsigned sacrifice that Tal would have made. But the one where you just, yeah, have nothing. I just resigned the game, by the way, so that's a good opportunity for me now to go to my profile and check out this other game. And how do I do this? I want to copy this game. Help, help, help. Oh, analysis board. Good. And then let's go PGN. Let's copy the heck out of this. And let's open up a chess base, because I'm too slack and I want to have the computer to solve my problems. So yeah, a3 was already very bad here. Bishop b7, bishop d3, and then knight d7, g5 takes, queen b6 and knight e2. This is just very bad. Bishop g. So maybe I needed to play knight e5 already. I don't know. This was my other intention. And now the more I look at it, the more I don't understand why the heck I didn't do it, because it forces some very awkward knight moves to cover up f3, or maybe rook g3 is doable. But even so, I should have preferred this beyond doubt compared to what I've done. Okay, so let's see what Magic Houdini says about it, and then I will quickly round off this video because it's getting a bit too long. Okay, come on Houdini, tell me dude what's going on here. Okay, so I knew that g5 was a mistake, and it's confirmed, although the advantage is very, very tiny. Knight e2 is question mark, I knew that. And simply knight c6, wow. See, the most natural move didn't even occur to me, and now obviously b4 is pending. Yeah, listen to the coach when he's talking no nonsense. Develop, develop, develop. I played bishop g7, which of course kept the majority of the advantage, and still knight c6. I don't know why. I was so obsessed with this knight e5 and the other knight in idea, which is completely unrealistic with the queen on b6, that I didn't even look at the most natural developing move here. g3, knight d7, f4. So the game followed a very logical course here, and we are both playing the best moves according to Houdini here. That's a mistake, and yeah, that is something that I did tell you during the game, that I was considering taking it twice, and the computer, being very materialistic, obviously suggests... Oh no, he actually wants me now to come in here. What the hell does that do? So if castles, then bishop e2, or what? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Alright, so all this is about putting more pressure on b2. So castles now, rook b8 is on, and yeah, I have got lots of dirty threats, including bishop e2 followed by queen b2. So basically the idea is to put enormous pressure on both of the knights, which are guarding each other very awkwardly. Never a good scenario to be in. And now b2 is realistically hanging. Wow, that is very clever. So I went knight c5, bishop e3, and then I castled, and the computer prefers take, and bishop c6 to deny the knight a4 move that I actually fell for in the game. Yeah, take. So I shredded most of my advantage apparently. Castles, rook h4. And black apparently is even better here. Sorry, white is. So that's where things went out of hand, although I played these moves under the premise of playing safely. Clearly it wasn't safe. So where is the advantage for white here? Knight b6. I thought that I would be better after this. Bishop g5. Holy moly. Okay, well, I didn't see that. And apparently I have to part with an exchange here. Knight c3, knight f3. Mind you, I would be more than happy to play this as black. Extra pawn, 2 bishops. Yeah. I totally missed that bishop g5 motif, but I wouldn't have lost this, that's for sure. So how did the game go? He went knight a7 check. I suppose that was a mistake. Rook d2, bishop f4. I thought that was best. Rook g6, rook e4, rook d1. Okay, so this is where he went wrong. I also missed this move, to be fair. So lots of tactics have been missed by both parties at this stage of the game. And I'm not really proud of that. In fact, I'm a bit upset that this many tricks were missed. And so I suppose knight c3 was the last biggie in the game, because now I get to hang on to my pawns. Yeah, okay, of course knight takes d5 was horrendous, and after something like takes and knight a4, king b8, he still maintains pressure on the very, very weak dark squares. Knight is coming in, so he potentially may be able to still draw it. He went astray because he thought that... what did he even think here? I don't know. Yeah, I'm lost as to what he was thinking, and I responded correctly. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. And yeah, he fell for a mate in one, but obviously after rook takes, bishop takes, it appears to be a lost cause, because I'm just winning the knight on a7 here. Alrighty, folks. I hope it wasn't too boring. I didn't really spice up this game analysis, but I was trying to focus because his rating misled me a little bit. To be perfectly honest, the other game we played was very one-sided, but hey, stuff happens. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it was beneficial. Two exciting Sicilian games. Questions, comments, and Merry Christmas wishes are more than welcome below. I would like to wish you Merry Christmas too, although I will be back with another video before Christmas really kicks in. So I hope you liked it, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.